So last but not least, bringing us home, the onboarding team.
Good morning, Robert Whitlow, Trimark Strategic.
Mitch Cohen, Trimark Marlin.
Wendy Corneglia, Trimark Orange County. Elizabeth Simpson, Trimark Strategic.
Jennifer Galinas, Trimark Distribution and Retail West.
Andrew Peggy, Gilbert.
Mike Saul, Trimark Essex Kent.
Carly Stadd, Trimark Essex Kent.
Justin Maeda, Trimark Adams Birch.
Paul Parr, Trimark Hockenbergs, and we are your LIA onboarding team. ELT Executive Panel, we are truly excited to have you guys here. Welcome you to our presentation. We know you'll have questions, but we'd ask that you please hold them until the end. So now you might ask yourself, why is onboarding so important? One sentiment we've taken from the last week came from Jerry. The only thing that differentiates us from our competition is our people. Our job is to find, develop, and nurture the people in our organization. The people are what make our company. The people are what drive customers to us. The people are what will grow us to where we want to be. Onboarding is defined as the action or process of integrating a new hire into our organization. Our onboarding scope is from signed offer letter through first 6 months. In our presentation, we will show you that our current state lacks standardized processes, cross-divisional alignment, and optimal engagement. If we want to grow from a $2 billion company to a $4 billion company, we need to make a change now. But wow, what an opportunity. What an opportunity. Our solution will include a powerful human capital management software. We will have consistent processes, and we will have improved new hire engagement. These three solution elements will provide enhanced culture as well as accelerated productivity. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to my teammate Justin, and he will talk about our current state.
Thank you, Paul. One of our early activities as a group was to understand the current state of onboarding at Trimark. We looked at and interviewed 30 people across 12 divisions to understand what the current state of onboarding is at Trimark. On screen is some of what we heard. I want to highlight a couple. I didn't know where to go the first day, said one new hire. I didn't even have a phone, said another new hire, who happens to be in this room. How do we not clean their workspace, said one of our HR colleagues. No comments that I think, beyond our initial giggle, would make us feel proud when we go home at night. The two most common themes we heard was our onboarding today: inconsistent, disjointed. Second, we looked at data. We learned that Trimark's turnover costs for 2019 are estimated to be $48 million. We learned that 49% of our turnover comes from teammates with less than 18 months of tenure. Almost half of our turnover comes from people with less than 18 months of time at Trimark. More startling, 2/3 of those folks who turn over within 18 months do so because they've decided that Trimark's not the right place for them. Why is the onboarding team talking to us about turnover? Our research told us that there's a strong connection between a robust onboarding program and turnover. So while we're not here to fix turnover, improve turnover, we feel like it's a benefit of an improved onboarding process. Today, our turnover rate is 21%. National average is 19%. That's across all industries, yes. If we move our turnover rate to national average, it's about a 4.5 million lift on EBITDA, which is also about 4.5% lift on EBITDA. Let's be conservative. Let's say we get halfway to the national average. We're still talking about $2 to $2.5 million lift on EBITDA, 2.5% lift on EBITDA as well. Next, to understand beyond the walls of Trimark, we looked for best practices at some other organizations, represented here on screen. And what we learned were there certainly were some great elements of onboarding. And I'm excited to turn over to my colleague Jennifer now to talk about our solution for onboarding.
Thank you, Justin. So we started with the details. We put together an onboarding scheduling template that talks about all of the little things that need to get done in order to get a new hire up to speed as quickly as possible. We identified the key milestones in the onboarding process and designated those as the signed offer letter, the day from the signed offer letter to when the new employee starts, their first day, their first month, and then months 2 through 6. We then identified the key stakeholders in the process. Who are the people that are going to be able to make this happen? The hiring manager, the office administrator, human resources, and IT. And then we assign the responsibilities to each of those stakeholders. All too often, what happens is that the hiring manager may think that human resources has a task covered, and then vice versa, IT may think that human resources is doing something. The communication is not there because of the lack of accountability. We also wanted to make sure that when a new hire starts with the organization, the excitement and anticipation they have when they submit that signed offer letter is captured and continued upon to increase the motivation moving forward. We're proposing that each new hire gets a welcome bag within 2 weeks of their signed offer letter. And please welcome Carly and Mitch up here as my Vannas to present. The cost of each bag would be about $100. With approximately 750 new hires at Trimark annually, that would be an annual cost of $75,000. When you look at the cost of employee retention and turnover, this is a small price to pay. In each bag would contain a water bottle, ta-da, a notebook, and a welcome folder. Human Resources would be responsible for the delivery of these bags within 2 weeks of the signed offer letter. We've given each of you members of the ELT a welcome folder, and I want to talk about the contents. First of all, Jerry was gracious enough to help us design a welcome letter for every employee from the president, welcoming them to our team. The next component we felt was important was a first aid checklist. I think one of the more surprising things we learned as we went through this process is that some of the things we're recommending are extremely basic, yet currently not happening today. The first aid checklist tells the new employee what they can expect as they walk through the door. It tells them where to park, it tells them what they can wear, what time they need to be there, and how they're going to have lunch on the first day. Again, very rudimentary things that we don't necessarily think about as hiring managers, but are very important to that new employee who may be uncomfortable coming in. We have a first week agenda outlining what the plan will be to get them up to speed. And then we included some other documents that speak to Trimark as a corporation, our capabilities, who our leaders are, so they can fully understand the huge opportunity they've been given by joining our company. Finally, we've included a handwritten note from the manager. You all have some handwritten notes that we've addressed to key potential hires moving forward. It's that personal touch, right? All too often in this day and age, we rely on text messages and emails and forget about the importance of the human connection, especially when you're joining a new company. Thank you, Carly. Communication is key. When you hire a new person, program their name into your phone so that if they call you or they text you, you know it's them calling and you don't miss the opportunity to connect. The hiring manager should reach out to their new hire upon the signed offer letter And again within the first week, establishing that dialogue and communication that is so key to be successful moving forward. This is a photo from a customer. I walked into their office and noticed that they had a welcome sign out for their new employee. Again, simple things, big difference. Any extra effort that can be made makes a big impact on that new hire and encourages them that they've made the right decision to join our company. Home away from home. Just a potential hypothetical customer. We have his cubicle all ready to go. Setting up the office space, right? Just having it ready, showing them you've thought about them, clean the desk, get the computer ready, get the phone ready, give them their tools and supplies. We are recommending that remote, non-office or service employees are brought into the home office on their first day. Meet the people that make up their team. We feel that the cost of travel to bring the new hire to the office would be negated by the long-term benefits. Every new hire should receive a first week schedule. What can they expect? And along with that first week schedule shows that some thought and effort has been put in by their entire supporting team as to how they're going to ramp up as quickly as possible. Any time during that first week when a new hire is sitting idly waiting for the next person to come find them is time wasted. Time they could be learning how to do their job better and faster. We highlighted some key points. We believe that the first thing that a new hire should get upon arrival to the office is a tour. Show them where their home is, show them where their team is, introduce them to the other people. Meet with human resources to capture that data that needs to be collected on the first day. Meet with IT, and then some time with the hiring manager. Not only lunch, but a daily wrap-up every day of that first week to talk about the plan moving forward and answer any questions that new hire may have. We're suggesting round-robin sessions with all of the support divisions within the division so that they can meet all of the people that they are going to be speaking to moving forward. And then time with the team. Plan a lunch, get the dialogue going, get them to feel involved and a part as soon as possible. Moving forward, we've identified some key benchmarks and the cadence that must occur from the 30th through the 180th day. That cadence involves knowledge sharing, performance measuring, and keeping the communication loop open and moving forward. As we've learned this week, feedback is critical and only makes us better. The feedback, however, goes both ways. So making sure that you have a set schedule for when the employee is going to receive feedback on how they're doing and what the expectations are, as well as us as a company getting feedback from that new hire about their process and their experience, so that we are constantly watching how we can get better. It's a lot of paperwork. Hiring a new person always comes with the caveat that there are a lot of forms to fill out and a lot of data to be collected. As we've heard many times this week, there's a tool for that. Technology in human resources is becoming very, very common. We looked at several different possibilities. We spoke with several different companies and ultimately decided that Ceridian, which is a platform currently being looked at by corporate human resources, is an excellent tool to move this program forward. It provides automated implementation processes, managing, task assignments, and data collection so that we could start to look as one TriMark at all of the data we're getting back. And now I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Robert.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. So what we've showed you today is that there is a definitive need for TriMark to invest in the revamping of the onboarding process. We've showed you through the data that we've provided. We've given you a ride down the process and the engagement that we're proposing, and we've also showed you the platform that we intend to use to deliver this process. So what happens when we load platform in the truck? What happens when we load the process in? And then we throw in the engagement. We close the door, we drive from the East Coast all the way out to the West Coast, and we back up to the dock at a RW Smith and realize we didn't strap it down. It all came together and gave us culture. What's culture? Culture is relationships and investment in people. That's the culture that we feel that we need at TriMark. One of our members on the panel says that it's our responsibility to help make our customers' dreams a reality. And it's not because we're salesmen to them, it's because we're relationship builders. The only way to drive that culture, to achieve that goal, is to allow that process to happen organically from the bottom when we first bring in our new hires. When we build the relationship, when we invest in them, just like you're investing in us right now with your time. What does all this do for us? It puts us on the road to productivity a lot faster. Once you get the buy-in, once the people believe that you're with them and that you're building a relationship and you're alongside walking with them, they want to work for you. It's not because they have to, it's because they want to. And that's what we have to develop in our culture. So how do we intend to unload this when we get to R.W. Smith? So we want to meet with the corporate HR team. Once we do that and get the buy-in, we need a welcome package. We need the marketing literature. We need a standardized policy put into place. We need to implement this HCM software, and then we need to roll it out regionally. The ask to you from us is that budget funds for creating a great first impression are allocated. Allow the onboarding team to partner with you to roll out this onboarding plan company-wide. And then next is the total implementation of the human capital management platform, Ceridian, by the second quarter of 2021. Just like every other team in this room that's presented to you today, we've learned a lot. We came in as individuals from different divisions across this company, and we started on the phone, and we got to know each other a little bit. But once we came here, and once we heard most of you speak and the outsiders that you brought in to speak to us, it resonated in us. It helped build that relationship with us to help move us from the level we're at onto the next level of being good stewards of this company that we're building. So we want to thank you for your time, and we want to thank you for your investment in us and your belief in us. And here's some of the process. We were very happy at the beginning. We were trying to follow the process and likely killed each other. But we did find out that there's a tool for that. And I just want each of you to know that you missed the mark if you did not invest in the 5-hour energies of the world this week as we work through. We'll open it up for questions. Thank you very much.
So when you went through the list, first of all, you guys did a really, really good job. Did you think about, are there different things or touches that you think are needed based on an employee, a new hire's function and or a new employee or new hire's level in the organization? As you talked specifically to remote people, and I think that was a good call out, but what about those other things?
Yeah, sure. So part of our process is very scalable. The whole process is scalable. Notice I didn't say flexible. We think every single point in the process should be given to each employee, whether they're a warehouse employee all the way to a VP or president. Now, that can scale from 15-minute round-robin sessions to full day or week-long round-robin sessions, for example.
I've seen the data on our turnover before and what it costs us. And you are making the connection between turnover and onboarding. Did you consider perhaps we're hiring the wrong people?
I think, yes, Jerry, we did consider that we may be hiring the wrong people. We were aware that there is likely to be initiative to train and teach interviewing skills. We believe that's critical and important, but we did not go down that rabbit hole as being so far outside the scope of our project.
And one more question, and like in everything else that we do in TriMark, we have some divisions that do a very good job with onboarding and some divisions that don't know what onboarding is. I assume that you're contemplating this structure for all of TriMark. What do you do when you get to that division that does a really good job that says, we've been doing it the way we've been doing it for 10 years. It works great for us. Thanks, but no thanks to your corporate proposal.
Well, I'm sure that would never happen. Honestly, we spoke to the HR professionals at every division. And while they all admitted that they definitely have some best practices, every single one of them was very eager and welcoming towards a program for onboarding because they know they could do it better.
So this is contemplated as a one program executed in one way in every division.
We think it's customizable. We didn't go down that path for this presentation.
I'm opposed to that. Don't get defensive.
There are certain elements that we know would have to be customized. However, things like the first week agenda, that has to happen. The benchmarks that we've put in place, the reviews, the surveys, yes, that absolutely has to be across all divisions.
What do you think would need to be customized?
I don't want a video.
So some of the customization is you have different roles in the company, and they require different trainings and skill sets. So those are what are customized. It's spending the time. You know, some of the key things we had in here was the engagement aspect and getting people productive. You've got to introduce people to who they're going to be working with, who their players are in their partnerships, and get those built. Whether it's an installer, learning who the warehouse person is, learning who the project manager is, that's a key. If it's a purchasing agent, they need to know who the estimators are. They need to know who their other buyers are so that they are successful as they start their career at Trimark. Those are the things that are customizable based upon role.
One of the questions that I have is, today, it's very hard, if almost not impossible, to see what open positions might be available in another division. And I saw, you know, the Ceridian solution was more of a Q1 or Q2 of 2021. So did you guys talk about how we could better access, you know, job openings, or maybe this is a little bit beyond your scope, but job openings between divisions, or how we could kind of lean in on that at all?
I don't think we really did touch on that much, simply because it was out of our scope, and you know, we wanted to make sure that we were sticking precisely to the scope.
You obviously did a ton of research and some good data, did some benchmarking at other companies, and all the interviews that you did. I'm just curious, you know, I just want to understand the benefit of the research you did, right? So what do you think is Trimark's opportunity here? You know, I know we said it was, you know, 21.
Yeah, so the data is all over the place. We've seen an improvement highest that's 86% and as low as 30%. So again, everything we saw, so if you take an average in there, 40-50% improvement. We're very, I mean, again, the national average is 19, you know, we're 21. If we can just improve it a few points, it's a big difference. So again, the numbers are skewed all over the place.
Just last question. So I think you guys did a phenomenal job. As you think about your onboarding process, it seems like it's very much focused on your job, your division. Did you also think about how you give your new employees exposure to the greater Trimark?
Sure. So we talked about having a video in the first day of HR where it shows you all of Trimark, all the business entities that are involved in Trimark. We'll take one more question.
So I have to ask, how did you calculate the cost of the turnover?
We knew that was coming.
And I'm going to need my notes for that one, Charles. This information did come from the corporate team, so let's give credit where credit's due, and they did a lot of work to come up with this data. But some of the things that went into cost of turnover, cost of hiring new employees, what time is invested, salary, component of salary of HR professionals, management time in onboarding, lost productivity in spending time bringing someone up to speed, onboarding. Lost engagement for people who are going out the door and aren't productive anymore. And then training costs. And I think that's the time we have. Thank you.